Every artist feels that sort of pressure. So cold. Like there were like I couldn't feel my feet most days. And they both are kind of caught off guard by the fact that they are thinking about each other. Beautiful moments between me and each of the girls. I have a little secret about Kevin McGarry.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Heart in Motion podcast. I'm thrilled to be talking with Jennifer Wigmore today. Jennifer stars in the Hallmark movie premiering this weekend, Melt My Heart This Christmas.
Yeah.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my thrill to be here. Thanks for asking me.
What a wonderful movie. I'm so excited to talk about it. This is one of those movies that I don't know if many of them that are out this holiday season, and this may be my perception, but it almost feels like there's three leads in this movie, you being one of them. So I'm so excited to get your take on the movie and then a couple of other projects that you've been involved with. So many fun things to talk about. Let's start. First of all, you play Bianca. How do you say, because I heard it a couple of different ways in the movie, how do you say Bianca's last name?
Well, that's always was a fun thing. It not only did it was I had a hard time pronouncing Holly's name throughout the movie, but yeah, many people had a hard time figuring out what my name was. Bianca Bonhomme is her
Okay,
name.
okay, Bianca Bonhomme is who you play.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, first of all, how would you describe Bianca in this movie?
Well, I would give you a way to say her name. When Darren Baker was trying to figure out how to say Bianca Bonhomme, I said it's like Bonhomme, Bonhomme, and
Got
then
it,
he was like,
got
"Oh yeah, I got that." Yeah. How would I describe this movie? You're right when you say there is sort of three leads to this movie, and that's true. This is a slightly different take on a Christmas movie. It's not so focused on the relationship just between the love interests. There's also a really strong female relationship that happens between an artist and her mentor, and that's me and Laura. And and when I read it, I was blown away because I've done a number of these kinds of movies, and I'm always the important person, but not really, I don't have my own story.
Yeah.
And and so to have a movie like this that really speaks directly to my artist's heart I thought it was a beautiful take on a Christmas movie. And I'm really happy to see the genre expanding to talk about female relationships a bit more.
So you hinted a little bit. Anybody that follows your work knows that you have a strong artist background aside from acting. So is that what really just drew you into the script, or what was it that really drew you in?
I don't know. It might be part of the reason I got the job because, I am a visual artist. And so I do have a direct connection and understanding of that world. I'm not a glass artist, which glass artists are incredible people. Um, I'm a visual artist, I'm a painter, but I do understand what it feels like to be an artist of a certain age, to have had some, accreditation, to have some renowned as an artist, and also to feel the pressure of that, to live up to it. And so I really did resonate with Bianca. And I think one of the things that there are there's been a few parallels about Devils Wear Prada and stuff like that.
Yes. Oh, I
Um,
picked up on it.
yeah, and I think that there's something about that kind of artist when you get to that kind of stature, that I was also really pleased that the story talked about that, and talked about that actually underneath there is a deep insecurity and fear about how you'll be perceived. And I think that really resonates with artists of all kinds. Doesn't matter what discipline you're in, every artist feels that sort of pressure of if they're good enough. Always, and it's something they're battling throughout their whole lives. And so I love the movie for that reason, that we did get to talk about that.
So she's a legendary glassblower. You mentioned that, who's hit this creative wall. Did anything in that struggle, the burnout, the pressure, the fear of plateauing, did it personally, did you have a moment where you're like, oh, like, and you've said this is what artists go through, but did you personally experience any of that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I certainly I teach art too, right? So I'm not only an acting teacher, but I'm a painting teacher. I teach portrait painting, and I teach all kinds of artists. And I think what really resonated for me was this idea that we as artists are constantly trying to put ourselves out there, and sometimes really difficult to know what it is that will resonate. And you can put something that's out there that's really personal, which is something Bianca does. She puts out something really personal, and she's very, very nervous about it because she has no idea how that will be perceived. And I think we as artists feel that a lot. If you're putting out a piece of work that's deeply personal to you, that you really have no real understanding of how that's going to hit. And if suddenly people really respond to it, it's confusing, and it can be really destabilizing. And then you kind of want to repeat it, but it's not something you can really repeat. Um, you know, Being an artist is really hard.
Well, it sounds like there's such like an identity to it. I know even in my profession, so much of what I do, my identity is tied to that. And I hang my hat on it so often.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, artists put everything into their art. And whether you're a glassblower or a painter or an actor or a writer, you're putting a little piece of you in every single thing that you do. And sometimes it's hard to know whether or not people resonate with that. And so when they do, it's very validating, and it makes you want to keep going.
So, set the stage a little bit more. Bianca often has these moments, these scenes with Holly and Jack, played by Laura Vandervoort and Stephen. And I always say his name. Is it Huzar? Huzar?
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, talk a little bit about how Holly and Jack fit into Bianca's world.
Well, Holly is a emerging glass blower, and she's desperately trying to get into the show that Stephen Hazar's character Jack is running for his grandfather. There's a whole side story with Jack and his struggles too, which is why this movie is so great, because it's quite layered. Everybody is struggling to become something. And so Laura Holly convinces Jack to let her be her Bianca's assistant, because Bianca quits right at the top, uh, because her assistant quits, but it's really because she's too scared. Um, and and so this causes the two of them to be kind of come together to help keep Bianca on track. And then also a very famous reviewer shows up who makes Bianca very nervous. And so she keeps avoiding trying to get an interview with Walter Gregson, who's brilliantly paid by Darren Baker. And uh, and so there's kind of like a buddy movie that starts to happen between Laura and Stephen, where they try to keep things away from Bianca, keep Walter away from Bianca, keep there's a bunch of different little things that they have to do, and they work together as a team, and they start to get to know each other. So and then of course
Yeah. And
well,
then the Hallmark happens, right?
then the Hallmark
Then the
happens. Yeah.
Hallmark happens. The Bianca Holly dynamic, is everything from prickly and uneasy. It's funny. There are a lot of layers to it. What was it like building that energy with Laura?
Well, Laura is kind and empathetic. She's incredibly hardworking. She's funny. She's generous. I love her. I love her. We are friends. It was an absolute joy to work with her. And we had a blast. We
Yeah.
absolutely had a blast getting to know each other and working on these scenes together. It was so delightful to have so many scenes with her and to really play the comedy, to really play the layers of that relationship, and to watch it grow into a friendship, from the very prickly beginning right through to the ending, which I think is super sweet. And the fact that Bianca acknowledges how important Holly has been to her growth, which is something I think for established artists may be hard to admit. So
Mhm.
good for Bianca for
Yeah.
recognizing that she needed to grow and that this young, beautiful soul helped her grow.
It really is just such a great, just to watch their relationship, how
Yeah,
it changes over throughout the movie. It was really fun to watch that
yeah.
dynamic
Fun to
change.
play. Really fun to play. Fun, fun,
Bianca
fun.
leans on Holly, but she also gets overshadowed by her as the fair unfolds. How did
Yes.
you navigate that mix of pride, insecurity, and ego in all of those moments?
Oh, it was easy. What does that say about me? Um, it was so easy because, I have felt all those things. It's very hard to be an artist, that you get so envious of other people's success, but also you're so happy for them because they've succeeded.
Yes.
It's a double-edged sword
Yes.
sometimes. And I think, the older I get as an artist, the more I realize that, oh, it's so hard to be an artist, that it just love everybody as much as you possibly can. Love everyone, and every accomplishment they make is not a reflection on the ones that you didn't make.
Hmm.
And so, I love going back to emphasize that with Bianca, that she has to learn that lesson from Holly, who is
Hmm.
at a much more generous point in her life. And I
Hmm.
think we do that, right? Like, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
if we're open to learning, we can learn from anyone. Anyone
Hmm.
can show us something that we haven't, that we need to relearn, maybe.
Yeah.
I just loved working with Laura, and there's always something of great value from young performers who are just so generous and gifted like Laura.
Such wisdom and just being that lifelong learner and who you can, lean
Yeah.
into at any given moment.
Always be learning. That's like,
Always be.
I mean, I think as a teacher, I have to believe it and I have to live it as well.
Good point. Do you have a fun or unexpected behind the scenes moment that you can share, or even something that viewers should keep an eye out for in the movie?
Oh, there was a lot of improvised moments in the movie, which I was really pleased to see still stayed.
Yeah.
And so there's many of those moments. I think that, the biggest obstacle in the movie is not something that any of you would have seen, but we certainly felt it, and it was the cold. It was
Okay.
so cold.
So the very first scene, the two of them are talking and you can see the air. And I'm like, well, this was definitely not filmed in the middle of summer.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, it was. I still shiver when I think about how cold we all were. I mean, it was February. It was on a good day, -15, -20 Celsius. There were some blizzards.
Oh my
It
goodness.
it it really truly was extraordinary. All of us are wearing multiple layers. Like, and when I say multiple, I mean multiple layers. Do you know what a hot shot is?
No, but I
I've
think I
never
might be
been out of
no.
a place
Go ahead.
cold enough, but so it's like this strange chemical reaction in a pack, and you can put it in a little plastic pack, and you can break it, and you can put it in your mitts.
Oh, we have
So
those.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you have the
we
so
have
here.
them. They're not called that. That's why I thought where I thought you might be going. They're called something else, but we have those.
Yeah, we call
Yeah,
them hot shots, and you could,
yeah.
and literally we had them taped onto our bodies.
It's all over.
Oh, so hilarious. Uh, and so cold. Like there were like I couldn't feel my feet most days. You know, Laura, bless her, in those heels. I mean, I don't even know what to say. She could like she couldn't walk in them because she couldn't feel her feet.
Well, I started to say there's a couple of scenes where she actually falls out of her heels, and maybe those were real.
Yeah, that 100% it was real. She could not feel her whole legs. She probably couldn't feel. Yeah, no, it was really cold. And there was something about it. It made us bond actually as a cast because first of all, it was the one thing that we all had in common that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
uniting us together. It was a
yeah,
very small little company and we all got along really, really well.
yeah.
And then in the minute that we would stop shooting, we would go into the warming tent or the warming room and huddle around like like a space heater with our big jackets on and shiver and laugh at how ridiculous, really cold we were. And so you just had to. We spent
Yeah,
all this time together,
yeah.
and we just got to know each other, and it really. It was a really happy set with really kind, beautiful,
Mhm.
generous people that made me laugh every day, in
That's
spite of
amazing.
the fact that I couldn't feel my own lips.
It's amazing what relationships are developed out of the struggle, right?
How did- yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Well, there's times I
So,
could not feel my face. I was like, am I still talking? It's like these are the
are
words.
the words coming out?
That day around the tree, do you know those two big scenes that we have? We all shot that in one day, and it literally was the coldest day of
Oh,
all time in recorded history. And none of us could feel our faces.
oh my
Not, like we just, and I was like, I don't even know if I'm even speaking
yeah.
anymore. Just,
Somebody tell me if I need to move my mouth.
it's really funny.
Where did you guys film?
In Ottawa,
Oh, well, there you go.
in the middle of February. It
Oh
was
my
freezing.
goodness. Noted. You'll keep that in mind the next time, right? Like, oh, Ottawa, February. But hey, you've got great friendships out of it now, right?
Yes, that's true. And you
Yeah,
know what? The Ottawa crew was amazing.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
troopers and the background, incredible. I honestly, I get to run off and go into a warming tent and they have to stay out there. I mean, it's incredible what they do. The
yeah,
background
yeah.
were great on this movie too, like just so dedicated and such professionals. Honestly, it was a really it's a great place to shoot.
So we've talked a little bit about Holly and Bianca, but like you said, there's kind of multiple stories going on here. So, and you've kind of talked a little bit about, Holly and Jack and how they're connected, but talk a little bit more about their relationship throughout the movie, what you can give us anyway.
Well, it's so funny because sometimes it turns into a bit of a buddy movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like that they
Yeah.
really they have these causes that they have to fix, these problems they have to solve together. And they really do develop a sort of friendship. They start out as adversaries, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't
Yep.
really like each other. Holly wants something from Jack, and Jack's too busy and thinks that she's trying to get something over on him. And so
Right.
they really start out as adversaries. So it's really like an enemies to lovers story for them, truly. And they go through all these things and they're really funny together. They made me laugh many times on set, the two of them, because they're really silly and they're really very funny. And their timing is brilliant, and they are really, really good at what they do. And I think, both of them, that story is really sweet, and it develops really slowly between them.
Hmm.
Love that. I love
Yeah.
that it's a slow burn for them. And they both are kind of caught off guard by the fact that they are thinking about each other, and that's super sweet.
It was definitely well developed. There weren't these just like points where you're like, okay, now this move, now this move. It just that flow of it was really nicely done. And even Bianca and Holly's relationship as well. So loved just how that transformation happened. What do you hope that people that are watching take away from this Christmas movie?
Oh, I really hope that they have a new appreciation for artists. I mean, There's some beautiful glasswork in this movie, and that was many, many local artists. I wish I could remember their names at the moment, but like really beautiful artwork. And that art, being an artist is hard,
Yeah.
and you should support artists. You should buy their work. You should celebrate them. You should tell them when you like their work. Um, because it can be very destabilizing, and lots of artists are in their head a lot, and they doubt themselves a lot, and I know that because I am one.
Yeah.
um and I know a lot of artists, and I teach artists how to try and navigate those negative voices that they have in their head. And so, if anything, I hope people will have a new appreciation for artists and be kind to them, support them.
Did you
Yeah.
get to, with your background, ever have any input or give any, advice on, what we're putting out here, how we say things? Did that play off, or was glass blowing too far away from what you're used to?
No, there's many, many lines in the movie that I contributed to, many. And there was quite a lot of improv. And Amy Force, our great director, was really open to that and really open to this conversation, because she also knew that I actually do understand what it
Yeah.
is to be a visual artist and to have shows. I've done many, many art shows. I've done many, many of those kinds of shows, which are, like fairs, art fairs. I've done many. And so I know what it is to set up a booth. I've had them. So I think she was really generous to defer to me sometimes about the way that something would be said, or how I would describe something as a visual artist. And that just allowed for a specificity in the story that allowed it not only to be closer to me, but more authentic, which is a
Yeah.
word that comes up a lot in the movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This be yourself, be authentic to who you are. And because that was the story that Bianca was trying to tell. It was really important for me also to be authentic and help the story be told in a way that I thought was truthful.
Every Christmas movie, we hope, has this big moment. Sometimes it's the kiss at the end, sometimes it's a beautiful snowfall, even if it's fake snow in the middle of summer, not in your case, or a big reveal. So, without giving anything away, what kind of moment do you think fans will be taking away from this one that might stand out?
There's a few. I think that scene at the tree when everybody finds out who Vare is a lot. Like
Yeah.
a lot is going on there. And it like Bianca gets really mean. So like it reminds me of another character I play, but we can talk about her later. Um, but yeah, and I think there's that real fear, like just sheer
Mm,
fear,
yeah.
and feeling betrayed and feeling very, very vulnerable, which turns into like her scorpion tail comes out
Yeah.
immediately. And I think Holly is incredible. Like just the acting alone is just incredible in that scene. And I think that to me is a very memorable moment. We were also incredibly cold, um, and shot it, very few times.
Yeah.
Thing I think people might like a lot in this movie is all the cell phone stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
found that quite charming and really relatable, and not something I see a lot in movies, certainly Hallmark movies. So
Yeah.
so I really liked that. I really liked this sort of, Madeline, who does a great job, Madeline Leon, great direct address stuff to the camera. That was really fun stuff to shoot, and was really relatable. And I really like that. I think people will remember that.
Okay. Fantastic. So, what three words would you use to describe this movie?
Oh, well, I would say funny. I think the movie's really funny. There's some very fun.
Bianca has some great
Yeah,
one-liners.
I mean,
Great one-liners.
yeah, she really does,
They're
and
probably yours, right?
quite a few of them, and a lot of eye rolls,
Yeah.
really good eye rolls. Yes, yeah, there's real some really good ones. Les
Funny.
Swiss Ski Lodge. Oh, that was a good one. And I think art is the art is unmistakable in this movie. It's the heart of the movie. It's the heart of the relationships, and it's the reason why everybody's there is to celebrate art. So I love that. And I think it's charming. I think it's a really
It is.
charming movie that has a lot of relatable ideas and beautiful relationships, where people are mean and then kind,
Yeah.
and you get to see everybody grow. And
Yeah.
I think that's the sign of a good movie, is when everybody's grown.
I love that. That's great. And again, we learn that the mean is really just from other stuff.
Oh, it's just
It's
all
really
in.
not mean,
It's not
right?
really,
Really mean.
well, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit.
Can we talk a little bit about Mallory Towers?
Oh, of course, yes.
So,
Oh,
for you played Miss Grayling on Mallory Towers for 4 of the 6 seasons, correct?
yeah.
And we just, and again, I didn't even know about this series. And I love something that, goes back in time, a good period drama. I mean, having an educator background, really loved it. How would you describe this particular series to someone that's discovering it for the first time?
Well, in America, you can watch Mallory Towers on BYU TV. And in the UK, you can watch it on BBC iPlayer and BBC. And Canada, you can watch it on CBC. And you can watch it all around the world. Mallory Towers is a beautiful, beautiful story based on a series of books written by a very, very famous British author named Enid Blyton. And it's the story of girls' schools. So in England, many primary school kids go away to school, to boarding school, and it's been a model that has been around for a very, very long time. And this when Enid Blyton wrote Mallory Towers, it was sort of the first series of books that was about a girls boarding school. There was a few ones about boys boarding schools, but there was none about girls, and this was a huge hit because of course girls suddenly were reading stories about themselves and their experiences. And it was never made into a series or anything. Nobody'd ever picked it up. And so when they decided to do it, they were going to do it with as a Canadian and British co-pro. And I was fortunate enough to play Miss Grayling, who is the headmistress of the school, that her family owns the estate where the school she grew up there, and instead of becoming continuing to be a big house or manor, she turned it into a boarding school. And it's just a beautiful story about the 6 years that these girls have in this environment, and all their trials and tribulations and all the hijinks they get up to. And Miss Grayling is the character that kind of is the mother figure and steers them through their adventures and tries to get them on the straight and narrow, but ultimately always supports them in their journey to be women.
Do you, looking back over those 4 seasons that you were there, do you have any particular moments that stand out to you as favorites? Or was it
Oh,
more, I mean, I think of watching these girls over those 6 years kind of grow up. I mean, maybe something like that.
I mean, how can you not fall madly in love with all of them? I mean, they're all like my daughters. I love them so much, and they're all beautiful women now. Um, I think the last season that we shot was particularly poignant. Certainly for Miss Grayling, there was a lot more Miss Grayling stories. And the wonderful thing that the writers did for us was, and certainly for my character, was write a story for each of the girls, for Miss Grayling to help them figure out what they're going to do with their lives. And it caused some beautiful conversations about growing up and being afraid and being strong and being a woman in the 1950s. And there's just some extraordinarily beautiful moments between me and each of the girls as they're graduating and going on and leaving Mallory Towers. And so there was a particular one that I had with Danya Griever, who plays Gwendolyn Mary Lacey, who's the stuck up sticky beak of the girls and a little bit of a troublemaker. And she has a really big turn in the final season. And there's this just beautiful scene with her and I in the garden, where I tell her that she can be anything that she
Yeah.
sets her mind to.
Yeah.
And it's just it was so honest. Honestly, it was I'll never forget shooting it. It was a beautiful, beautiful day, surrounded by people that I love. And it was just a wonderfully honest moment between Danya and I, who I adore.
Mm.
And yeah, I miss it terribly. And the final season, they kind of split up six into two seasons. So season seven, the final two episodes aired just the other night, actually.
Okay.
And many, many messages of crying 13-year-olds. And many, many women my age too, of course, because they grew up reading the books. And so
Oh
we're so
yeah. Yeah.
thrilled to see those characters from their youth come to life on the screen.
Do you that's a series. We've talked about a movie of the week. Do you have a preference? Do you like kind of dabbling in both? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I love doing both. I do another series called Cross
I
on
season
Amazon
two
Prime.
is yeah.
Season two is coming out on February 11th. Very exciting and very different than season one. Very different character. It was very funny. I was shooting both season one and season two of Cross at the same time that I was shooting Mallory Towers,
Oh
and
wow.
they honestly could not be more opposite characters.
Opposite. I know very little about Cross, but I'm like, I think I can guess on this one.
Yeah, talk about mean. Yeah, I play the chief of the Washington Police, and she's very hard. So it was very fun to play both of those at the same time, and also very lucky and
Yeah.
fortunate for me as an actor to have that sort of honor and gift. Um, I love acting, and I will act in anything. I did a movie, I did a small part in a movie with Nicolas Cage, and that was super fun. And but there's something about series, eh, you get to explore a character as they grow over time. And the writers begin to write for you rather than, what in the first season they wrote and then they cast you. But in the second and third season, or if you're like lucky, in my case, six, that they start to write for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And that's a special kind of feeling that I hope every actor gets to experience, because it truly is an honor to then the kind of freedom you have, the kind of validation you get from that kind of work is unparalleled. So I've been very fortunate in my career to be on a number of series for a number of years, and it's a very big privilege and super fun.
Yeah.
It's fun because you
I
become a family, right?
oh
On
yeah.
you become a family with these people, and you miss them when you no longer get to see them.
Mm. I brought up to you before we started that speaking of series that I'm anybody that follows this podcast knows that I love When Calls the Heart. And I mentioned to you that I follow you enough that I thought you would make a fantastic Nathan Grant's mom. And I was literally, I could form a case for this. I could start a petition. And you had
Correct.
something fun to say about that I did not know. Can you share that?
Well, I have a little secret about Kevin McGarry. So I was Kevin's first acting teacher in theater school. And I cast Kevin in the first play I ever directed in that theater school, and in the lead role. And we got to work very closely together. And we're still friends after
Mm.
all these years, many, many, many years ago. And I love Kevin. He's a delightful, kind, warm, beautiful, very, very funny human being. And I'm so proud that he has the career that he has, but he deserves it because he's a genuinely decent, wonderful person who also happens to be a very gifted actor who's very funny. And yeah, so yeah, I would love to play his mom. Are you kidding? It would be a full circle moment for both of us. We'll just manifest that out
Here
there.
you go.
Because yeah, we would get a total kick out of it too, because we would have already an immediate relationship.
Well, and if it doesn't happen, something needs to happen. That full
Something has to
circle
happen.
moment needs to happen, right?
It really does. We laugh about it because, that class is still very close, that acting class, and
Yeah.
we've had a couple of reunions, and we joke about it, that one day we'll get to work together, which would be very funny besides the other time we got to work together.
Did you have any idea he's playing the lead in this play did you have any idea, oh, he's going to be a Hallmark star one day? Did you have high hopes for him?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew he would be something. If he got into film and television, I knew he would be fine.
Yeah.
Because he's very talented, and he was very talented from the day he walked in. I mean, I hope I helped him a tiny bit, but he didn't need much help. He was already great. And he just needed to just be reminded of that so that he could go out and do it. And I'm very excited. He's going to be a father. He's gonna be a great dad. I mean, like really great
He's
dad.
played some great dad roles, so we've often said he's going to be a great dad.
Yeah, yeah, and he's just a delightful person, and I couldn't be more proud and happy for him because he deserves it. He's one of the good ones, and so
Yeah.
you want them to be the ones that become prominent enough and stable enough in this business. It's a hard business, acting, and not very, very few make it. But I always knew Kevin was gonna make it. Yeah, he's just too handsome and too funny. Too
Well, if you're not Nathan Grant's mom, we'll either have to get you on When Calls the Heart or create
Oh,
some other movie. We could
oh,
we could dream
yes.
it, right?
Yes, I
We
would
could dream it
love
up.
that. I would love it. Yeah,
So,
can't make it happen.
come on, I'll put it out there. We'll get it out there. So here's another question. We've talked about Cross, which is going to come out. Season 2 is coming out in February. Do you
Yeah.
have any other projects that we can be looking for?
Well, if you're a Canadian, you can catch me on Murdoch Mysteries, the Christmas episode, which is coming out on December 1st. That's called Sugar Plum Murdoch, I think, something as silly like
Talk
that.
about something with a lot of seasons, right?
Oh, 28, 29, something
It's
like that. Yeah.
crazy. I don't
All
know,
around
but
the world,
there's
all
a
around the
lot.
world. Yeah, this is their big Christmas episode. They have a number of Canadian stars in it, and they asked me to come and do a little cameo there for them. That was super fun. We had a great time. And it's always, I mean, I do quite a lot of period shows, so it was always fun to put on the big hair and the big dresses, and
Yeah.
she's quite a character. And yeah, and then of course, Melt My Heart This Christmas comes out on Sunday. So
Any
yeah.
other projects like outside of the acting world that keep you busy? Because I know we've talked a little about
Mm.
artist stuff, but you seem
Yeah,
involved in a lot.
yes. I mean, I'm an activist, right? I've always been an activist. I got it from my dad. I come by it honestly. I helped build an organization called ACE, which is the Association of Acting Coaches and Educators. to help build community and minimum standards for acting training education. It's now become an international organization. We have branches in the UK and Canada. We have 170 odd members around the world, and growing all the time. And it's really a place where acting coaches can get education for themselves and commit to best practices. I'm just very, very proud of it. It's something that needed to happen after the Me Too movement. We really needed to have a bit more standards and ethical behavior when it came to acting teachers. And so there just wasn't really anything happening to help acting teachers get the kind of education they need, not so much in what they teach, but how they teach it.
Yeah.
And so I was very proud to be part of that and still am. I'm also very involved in the actors union here called ACTRA. You can think of it similar to SAG in the States. And I sit on the Actor Toronto Council, which is a group of performers that are elected to help steer the organization on behalf of performers and negotiate our agreements. And so I'm very proud to start that work again. I was on council many, many years ago, but I think this is really interesting times for performers. And, sometimes I've been lucky enough to be in this business for well over 30 years now. And there are things that I know that I can bring back to the table that I think, since we're heading into really quite perilous times for live performance with the threat of AI and many other issues in our world, um, that we need to have strong voices at the table from all levels of performers, helping to guide the next, what's next,
Yeah.
and how we're going to get through these kind of perilous times. So yeah, I'm also a writer too. I like, and I try and keep up my artistic practice as well, painting in my studio. It's so fun. Like, just like Bianca, I have a studio that I go to and I make my work there. And I teach my classes out of there. And I'm a lucky person. I mean, I think when I'm not acting, I still have art in multiple ways that allows me to keep going. And I always tell my students that, it's really important to find other outlets other than acting, to express your artistic identity, because acting is not something you can do on your own. I
Yeah.
mean, I suppose you can, but that's a different conversation.
Absolutely.
Um, um, but I think it's really important for actors to find other outlets for their art and also always take class. I go to class every Monday night at Map Actors, which is a class. It's saved me many, many times. Because it's very, as we've talked today, the theme of this podcast today is probably it's hard to be an artist.
Yeah.
Um, but you need to be with community sometimes. And because actors are often only making when they're working, like auditions are not really work, they're kind of a fiction. And so you don't really get the practice that you need. And sometimes you can be a long time in between gigs, and so that's why I always tell actors to go back to class. And I love my acting class because it allows me to play and be silly, and it's not tied to an outcome. It's not tied to a job. It's just me being able to practice,
Yeah.
just like the gymnast on the balance beam.
That's so amazing that, you have a job, but you are giving back all of the time and you're learning all of the time. It's just so amazing.
Oh, thanks. Well, I don't really know any other way to be. I've always poo-pooed the idea of that there's something called a master. I don't
Yeah.
even know what that
Yeah.
means. We said it at the beginning, always be learning,
Yeah.
because learning keeps you humble. It keeps you generous and open. And if you're always looking for somebody to show you something, then you're always going to think of them in an empathetic way, that they might actually have something to teach you, no matter who they are, where they come from, or
Yeah.
how old they are. I'm always that way. I learn more from it's the biggest secret of teaching, right? You learn more from your students
You
than you
do.
do
You do.
as the teacher. So, yeah, I love teaching artists and I love artists and I really want them to be nicer to themselves.
So while we wait for Melt My Heart This Christmas to come out, do you have a project that we should go back and watch?
Oh boy. I mean,
Maybe
I
we need to start with season one of Mallory Towers.
Yeah, you could. That's really fun. You could all, I mean, I've done a couple of other Christmas movies. The Winter Palace with Danica McKellar was really fun. I love Danica. We have a great relationship, and I did another movie with her and Neil Bledsoe, both of those two kooky cats. Um, both of whom I adore, called what is it? Meet Me at the
That's
Drive-In.
the drive-in, right?
The drive-in one,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And then, I did another Christmas movie that I also love, which is similar to Melt My Heart This Christmas, called The Fabric of Christmas with Farrell Young, who's a beautiful, beautiful actress. And it's about a quilter. It's about a quilter who meets her mentor. It's really similar vibes. In
Nice.
fact, I just saw Farrell earlier today, and we were talking about the parallel between her and I and that movie and this movie that's about to come out. So if you were going to watch anything, I would watch The Fabric of Christmas, which actually it's out on CBC Gem now if you're in Canada. And I'm not sure where it is playing in America, but it's got to be somewhere.
I'll check it out. I'll drop it in the description if it's playing in America. So,
Yeah, that'd be great. It's another lovely movie with a really strong female relationship driven storyline, which I love seeing those in these kinds of Christmas movies, because of course a lot of the demographic of people who are watching these movies are women,
yeah,
and so it's really nice to see stories about them and about their lives. It's not just about falling in love all the time.
that's right. That's right. Jennifer, where can everybody follow you to stay up to date on all of your projects?
Oh my goodness. Well, you can always find me on Instagram at Jennifer Wigmore. You could, if you want to see my artwork, it's at Jennifer Wigmore Art. Or you can find my website, which is just jenniferwigmore.com. And you can see all the projects and all the news and stuff of what I'm up to and things that I've done in the past. And lots of candid shots of the stuff that I've worked on. I love to post photos, selfies with the cast, because I think those, it's really important for people to know that we're real people and that we're not really the characters we play, even
Yeah,
though Bianca's a bit spicy, you know. I'm not that spicy. I'm certainly not as spicy as Chief Anderson on Cross.
now we all know you really are a nice person. So,
I am a nice person.
oh, well, I want to remind everybody that Melt My Heart This Christmas airs Sunday, November 23rd at 8 o'clock, 7 Central on the Hallmark Channel. You can watch it the next day on Hallmark Plus. Jennifer, thank you so much for this conversation. I have had the best time.
Me too. It's just delightful. And let's get me and Kevin on the show.
We
And
will we will make it happen.
we can talk about all the horror of me being a director.
There we go. There we go. Well, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.